or 30 years from now, when you hear from one of your favorite songs, you'll have some nostalgia too. So we're going to start our music pop, and our first model is Joy Lewis, and she's wearing a poodle skirt.
of young guys that have done very, very well. Jim's one of the most respected people in the game today. Great knowledge of talent, great judge of talent.
His son Jason eluding Wallace.
Be in this more collegiate Ivy League look that was popular, where they could still have been wearing the crew cut. Sneakers, leather, and the sweater around the neck indicated he was really in terms of the Ivy League or Eastern look, which was beginning to be real popular. The boys would carry the girls' books if they wanted to go with them or wanted to know them better, or if they were going static. Wasn't that nice? They carry your books around school or carry them home. Now you girls have to lug these backpacks up. Another casual look for the girls of that time, Paulette Blank is wearing very well, in my add. She wear the jeans rolled up, body socks or athletic socks. Now, we didn't have socks so much per se for girls, so oftentimes we wear men's athletic socks rolled up with either sneaks or saddle shoes, and our dad's shirt. Our hair fluffed out, and notice she's wearing a bracelet, a charm bracelet. That was really, really popular in this decoration, and of course she's wearing her boyfriend's class ring. And chew it down. She's on her way to the soda shop. Now tell me, how many of you girls are wearing your father's shirts or sweaters now? Yeah, they sure look as back. Okay, another little tradition back then was that girls didn't call guys on the phone unless they were going steady, and then not too common. Girls never ask a guy for a date unless he might be going to a different school and she wanted to invite him to her dance or prom. So we really had kind of two standards there. The girls always had to be asked, and so the only way we could get them to ask us was either flirt or kind of mention it casually or hint or worse, an invitation. dancing we would do, of course, was faster jitterbug. The jitterbug era came from the 40s and went on into the 50s, and then it picked up and was translated into rhythm and blues if you lived in the South, and rock and roll. And again, American Bandstand was the place to learn the steps. So we're going to show you a few little steps to do.
This is when you used to actually touch the first of the dance here when you were dancing jazz. You don't do that anymore.
There were a couple other dances that were popular during that time. One was the bunny hop, which I'm sure you all did when you were in high school, at grade school. And then another one was called the stroll. And that one was one we haven't really had to use before, but when one comes in sort of close, Bunny knock it out. He's going to do it. You also got out of breath lines. Okay, we're going to go on to our next model, which is Big Blank. Unfortunately, the look that we're trying to get is unavailable, but we wanted you to see the colors that were available. In the 50s, pink and gray was absolutely the thing to wear. The men either wore the white bucks, or if you were real cool, you could also wear gray suede shoes with the pink trim. They would wear purple gray pants with a little pink pieces of color, color in them, or also in the blazer, or you might wear pink and gray as a kind of a short athletic jacket, like Yellow Blue has on. Kind of those colors. The pink shirt was real popular, and the white tie with the obnoxious print also. The suit isn't really what we were trying to show you, but the color is what we were trying to show you. They were extremely popular, but unfortunately, Goodwill doesn't even carry that anymore. Okay, so that was the colors that were real popular. Connie Copeland is wearing a dress from Mrs. J.G. Powell. She was kind enough to loan it to us. This is really quite an elegant dress that I think probably... This is from the late 50s, and Mrs. Powell actually wore it to her daughter's wedding in the late 50s. It's kind of a semi-formal. She has an emphasis in the upper and the above waistline. This would be worn in a semi-formal situation such as a wedding or a semi-formal dance or maybe going to church. And she would wear white gloves with it. And she would wear crystal or pearls. So this was really quite an elegant look, and people really dressed up more when they went to church or to dinner or to the Old Globe Theater or something like that, even as young people. Thank you, Mark. Looks really good. Another more dressy look that a girl might wear is from Beth Stadberg is wearing it, and this again is Mrs. Powell's daughter from the 50s. Her daughter actually made it. Girls wore very tight fitting sheets then. play or something like that. And she fits it very nicely, doesn't she? Mrs. Silver was kind enough to loan us another garment. This is from the early 50s, and this would be worn by someone a little bit older. And I thank Susie for wearing it. She looks very nice in it. You would wear this suit if you were going out for an interview, or if you were, let's say, 18, you had graduated from high school, and you were going to work in a business. People dressed quite formally when they went to work, even as a secretary or office personnel. However, if you were going to church or some other kind of formal occasion, you would wear the hat. And that's a perfect example of the hat of the late 40s, early 50s. And I see this suit not so much as old anymore, but really coming back. If you look at the emphasis of the shoulders, I think of Dynasty immediately, and then the narrow fitted waist. So some of these styles you're beginning to see coming back. Now that we've all thrown them away, they're coming back. But Mrs. Hilker was smart enough to keep this, and her daughter actually wears this now. So I thank you for wearing it, Susie. And with the gloves, and you could wear pearls or something like that, and that would dress it up. This happens to be one of my favorite songs from high school. Kevin Mosher is our next model. Kevin is wearing a very collegiate look, and I'm surprised how in it really looks today. This is when the Ivy League look really began to come into and influence men's clothing, guys' clothing. And so the gray and pink went out like very quickly. And in came Ivy League with the button down, and that's when we first began seeing the button down collar, the skinny tie, even smaller than this one sometimes, the high, narrow lapels, and the olive or drab green were really popular. And the blazer would be worn with cords, just as he's wearing, or the loafers. Mostly loafers. So he's really has the Ivy League look that was becoming popular in the late 50s and early 60s, and really is quite popular right now. So I thank you, Kevin. It's really good. You might be interested to know that the senior class, had a little tradition when we were in school. They would spend that whole year earning money for a very special class trip. It usually consisted of anywhere from 3 to 7 days on, maybe to New York or to Washington, D.C. or some really neat point of interest. But you spent all year trying to earn money for this class trip. Something that's not done much today, but it was a tradition during the 50s. One of our first prom dresses of the evening is worn by Denise Bates. Her mom wore this when she was in high school. You remind yourselves that your mothers at one time were thin. She would wear pearls or rhinestones or crystal, and this would be worn to not a real formal, but a semi-formal dress. Look at the big button earrings. Those were also real popular. Now, our proms were held in the gym, not in a big hotel. And the junior class would spend all year trying to earn money to pay for this junior-senior prom that was held in the gymnasium. We would think of a theme, and there would be different committees that would decorate it, and we would have to raise the money for the decorations and the refreshments and the band. That was always a very expensive item. But it kind of brought the class together, and we all worked toward that goal. It was really kind of fun. And the last day or two before the prom, we would spend decorating the gym to try to make it not look so much like a gym. It was always kind of a big task to transform it into Japanese gardens or moonlight or something. So that was one of our big traditions. Also during informal dances, not formal or semi-formal, like a hop or something like that, the girls would sometimes dance with each other. I know that's not that much. Also, we had a dance called a sock hop, and Sharon Mollison just asked me about that. to make it stick out even further. Your goal was to have your dress stick out as far as possible, and if it were a long dress, you would wear a hoop skirt under it. And so we had 4 major dances a year that were always with formals, and the boys would always wear suits. But rarely would they rent a tux unless it would be a prom, or unless they were attending maybe a queen or something for that event. Thank you, Andrea. School was really important. You would go bowling, maybe miniature golf. The roller rink was really a big area of congregation in a larger city. But I understand that parking was the best activity of all. What's that? Ask Jack Rocher. By the way, I said going steady was really common during that time, and I took a poll of some of the married adults in this room tonight. Turns out that there were 3 couples that either knew each other or 2 of them dated during their high school and are married, and I think that's kind of good. Phyllis and Jack Rocher and the Renners dated in high school. Paulette and Dick knew each other, but didn't date until college. Okay, our last, I thought you might like to have a glimpse of the era that came after the 50s. And so we have a little treat in store for you of the 60s era. This was the era of the anti-establishment hippie power tune. They were against war, money, psychedelic was in, bare feet, sandals, old worn-out jeans, beads, flowers, long hair, and beards. Aren't they great? Next year will be the 60th. Thank you very much for your participation. At this point, we're going to turn the program over to Jenny Wheeler. Thank you.
I had just returned from 2 weeks in one of the most exotic beaches in the world because I didn't want to miss this tonight. As I was sitting on the beaches in Pascagoula, Mississippi, I was always with you as the seaweed came in, or mudsuckers, giant Mississippi mosquitoes. But my thoughts were always with you, my prayer. And I did reflect back on my first year here and a year of activity. And I was so moved that I had to put this down in poetry. And so I have a quick poem, and then I have to get on award committee. I had a poet laureate help me, my 6-year-old, so stretch some of the rhyming. What a year this has been to you for St. Mark's. What they miss in smarts, they make up in big hearts. We started last summer with Day at the beach, wearing suits whose body parts into now out of reach. As disciples, we worked weekly at Project Concern with Bob Fry's statement night the boys between the cabins did play. The fall flew by quickly with busy Sunday nights. We studied the social principles of everyone's equal life. The dinners were delicious. Pizza, tacos, hamburgers, and hit. Hardwood rock. Alice Peterson did it so calmly, never throwing a fit. There's some other options on that. The spring came too fast. The youth tour so busy. With fundraising, group building, our group became busy. 22 seniors attended the weekend at YPC. Greg, Melinda, and Patty chaperoned without pregnant me. A dozen more seniors ventured across the Mexican border to rebuild the school without tools or mortar. We want to thank the Fletchings and Dennis for their skills and their patience. They certainly deserve several standing ovations. The junior highs were busy with parties, programs, and confirmation. Ginny met another overnight with clear determination. This time there was some more hanky-panky, and by 2:30 a.m., Ginny was cranky. Now let us pause to remember some people to remember, the adults in our program who never lose their temper. In church school, there's Greg, Glorianne, and Karen, who taught about Christ, his love, and need for sharing. In choir, there's talented, creative leads who can work miracles with a group of untalented. The two bell choirs really rang well. Diane, Lori, and Mark really made it sound swell. To Dick, Paul, and Marty, we owe our gratitude. Their love and enthusiasm were constant and never grew. The senior highs owe thanks to Phyllis, Jessica, and Kay, who are surviving to counsel us another day. There are so many others who help show us the way. We love you and thank you and ask God's blessing on you this day. Now the evening grows long, my tale work has ended. I hope it was none that I have offended. Now it's the award section. I'm going to ask the music people as I call you to come forward. And if you have anything to say about your group, or if you don't have anything to say about your group, that's fine too. If you have that opportunity. Our music has one of the finest reputations in our conference, if not in the kingdom of God, and it is due largely in part to our leaders. So I'd like to recognize right now Stu and Lori Fletcher and Mark Michael. They would please stand or come forward if they'd like to say something.
Those of you in Chapel Choir received your awards as you came in. They were passed out to you, and I'm hoping you had a chance to read your letter. Does somebody have a letter here that I could grab? For those of you who aren't in Chapel Choir, so you don't know what's happening. Dear Chapel Choir members, it's customary for me to write notes to each of you as a sort of a personal thank you at the end of the season. Because we have much more season left, because there are more and more of you, and because what I have to say this year is something I want all of you to reflect upon, I've decided to address you as a group. You have had a superb year of ministry. Each of you is to be commended for your dedication, your discipline, hard work, and faithfulness. We have had many commitments this past year, and I've been very impressed with your ability to juggle so many responsibilities. Each of you has reason to be proud. Chapel Choir is known throughout the San Diego district as a really superb singing group. Your participation in annual conference for 2 years running, your significant leadership in the district youth choir, your mastery of Celebrate Life, and the upcoming Banquet much sacrifice on the part of all and is quite rare. You bring youth, energy, enthusiasm, and sensitivity to your musical ministry. I would pray that as each of you continue to grow and mature, you might recognize that at the center of such ministry, there is always found a personal relationship with Christ. May that be your goal, to know Christ as your best friend. Chapel choir is good. It is very good. We have had a wonderful year, but we can be better. We can continue to grow musically and spiritually. We sing about praise. We can become praise. We sing about God's saving grace. We can experience it in our own lives. We sing about a faith which we can accept as our own. So then, let us continue to work together to develop those gifts which God has given. Let us continue to give to this body of Christians in St. Mark's our fervent participation in worship. Let us look forward to future challenges and opportunities, confident that God will provide the skills and resources we need. Thank you all.
this year was bought and paid for by the United Methodist Women. This is quite an expensive gift, and so I want to thank the women too. I want to invite the sixth grade, the incoming seventh graders, to come forward and remember thoroughly and stand here and tell your names. Would you please come forward if you're here tonight?
Not there, Travis. Yeah, Travis. Susie! Remember that little boy? No, all boys. I didn't get a photo.
Jill's had a good suggestion. She says that all the incoming seventh graders remember 20 cents for the phone. So, I'd like to introduce them. I barely knew them all, so I'm going to ask your name. Marcer? Mercer.
Stand on the stairs. Have them stand on the stairs. Can't see him. That's wrong.
Initiation. It gets better after this.
Hey, you were small at one time too. You still are.
Problems, sure.
I had bumps down on the stairs.
Brett Volko. Okay. Ryan Van Roos. Ryan Lazaro. Travis Renner. Boy, we got some continuing in there. Yeah, start. Let's give them a few applause. There's only one girl up there. Besides being responsible
Yeah, you were the other guy.
production every week, Alice Peterson has had a tough job of rounding you all up
Yeah, but you loved everything.
as acolytes. And I'd like to invite her forward now, and can we show her our appreciation for all the work she's done? We had acolyte awards ordered for our people. However, they did not all come helpful throughout the year. She gets back and you see her, tell her you love her and you appreciate all the hard work that she's put in for you. Okay, at this time I'd like the junior highs to have maybe some presentations for their adult counselors to come forward. And when they're finished, then we'll turn it over to the senior high.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to have my best buddy, Dick White, come on up. Dick last year was assigned as the tough man around in junior high, and he was given a nice gift, got some nice Mr. T jewelry. Well, this year we thought he was a little bit more organized, so we got Dick a Mr. T suitcase.
Hey, Wayne, easy to find stuff. This is Dr. Bob's hair grower. Yes, now even you, as bald as you are, can have hair as thick as a forest. Directions: apply liquid to place where hair growth is desired. Caution, this product will put hair anywhere. So don't spill any on your elbow.
Okay, next we got Jack. That's what certainly please. Be Jack. Now, Mr. Mosier over here. Mike, what did Mr. Mosier try to put together over the summer?
Mr. Mosier was very helpful in trying to put together a soccer league for the Methodist churches, and it didn't work out quite this year.
And we feel that, he was a valiant effort, and it will probably work out next year, right? We feel that we should give you something to remind you of soccer. And here it is.
We gave him a shoe with a cactus in it.
Since the Waynes and the Copelands are leaving, we're going to let them have their turn because we're going to do something to them later. Could you come forward now and do your presentation?
Pardon? It was water. She won't want to soul. Spit on it. Spit on it. Here, have mine.
Scott.
I have this problem. The camera's not working. The flash didn't even come on or anything. I couldn't even take the pictures. Something's wrong with it. You looked at it. Great. Yep.
Probably the least organized we've been all year.
Here's your suitcase.
The first award we have tonight is for a girl who brought more guests to NYF than any other. She always had a friend every other week that she invited, Jenny Fry. All right, Jenny! Jenny, what I have for you is you beat the UMYF drum more than anybody else, and that's a little monkey.
Jenny, right? Jenny started off the year and was elected secretary of the junior high and did just a marvelous job with a botanical kind of thing that we started. So because she did such a good job, we're giving her one. The botanical thing that she did is she started our telephone tree. She was chairman of the telephone tree, so we have a nice tree.
Well, immediately when we were planning this, all the girls said to me, you ought to give Scott the Studley Award. And the more we thought about it, we were really going to get him a gavel because, as most of you know, he's been the junior high school group president this year, and a very good one, been a very good organizer for us. But when we came across this unique gift, we decided it had to be for Scott. For you, Scott, this is instant checkoff letters sealed with a kiss. Now this should shorten his courtship.
Not that we've ever lost the word.
What a jerk.
blessed with this.
Donna Johnson. Donna's been a great part of the group this year. Recently into the spring now, she took up softball too, and she's really great at it. And she wrecked her knee, and I know at the beach last Sunday, we were tripping down to go in the water, and I tripped her and hurt her knee further. So to help her out, we have some ace bandages for her bad knee.
Kristen Bouvier. Maybe a lot of you don't know that Kristen's leaving us. She's moving with her family to Oakland in about 2 more weeks. And so we have a special gift for her that we'd like all of you to help us with. We have an address book, and we'd like to present it to her and then hope that she'll pass it around and have each one of you put your name and address and phone number in it so that when she needs to call someone, she'll know that she can count on you.
It's awfully hard to
shy, quiet type? Have you ever seen this fleeting glimpse of somebody running around the church on Sunday night? It's Ryan. It really is Ryan. Usually he's chasing Eric, or Eric's chasing him, or Ron, or Robbie, one of them. Anyway, we know that underneath his shy exterior, there's really this happy-go-lucky bubble of a fellow. And so, just to make sure that he lets everyone else know, we've got him a supply of bubbles.
Okay, Cindy here isn't here tonight. I thought maybe Patty would come up for her. And also Andrea Mosher. We have two girls that are graduating up to senior high and will be joining their sisters or brothers respectively. I don't really know which is which. So we have for you, moving up to the big leagues, some big league too.
Now, I hope we didn't miss anything. There are several people who are missing. Robbie Foley's missing, and Cindy's missing, and Mike Finley, and Eric. Anybody else missing? Okay. What I'd like now, real quickly, is to have the new incoming 7th graders come up and face you, and we have a little presentation for them, the things that we think that they'll need next year for junior high. So would they please come up? Now I need you to listen. Now we want you to listen carefully because these are the things that we really think you're going to need for survival next year in junior high and Okay, first of all, it's a flashlight. You know, every fall we go on a retreat and flashlights are really necessary, not just for finding your way to the bathroom, but for other tricky things. Yeah, we know you'll find something to do. The next thing is a new supply of sponges. We'll probably be having some car washes next year, and you'll need some new sponges. We do some programs, usually try and do about 3 a month, and have a social event, and so we always need paper and pencil, especially full pencil. Most of them, yeah, paper that's not folded and ripped, and pencils that aren't broken in half. The next thing is tape. Now, normally it would be the counselors who are taping your mouth, but on occasion you'll find someone in your group amongst you that you'd like to put tape on. And last but not least, 20 cents for the phone. Welcome to UNYF.
Alice Peterson. As you all know, Alice
well, we gave her a whole jar of pennies last year, and unfortunately we don't have any more to give her. That was it. So, we've made some things here for her that we think would be useful. We know choir rehearsal's not over, but this is a calendar that we've made on our handy-dandy computer, and it's for next year, starting in September, and it runs all the way through to the end of 1987. Wow. And we have a little bag here of things we think she's going to need for survival on the tour. Now we have batteries, some cotton balls for her ears. Yeah, she's going to need a plastic bag in case she hyperventilates.
Maybe I wanted that.
A bottle of Coke. And a whistle.
An interesting year. Jenny came and joined us last year, and we've all
your dad and mom would never consider letting you drive a Mercedes, right? Is that true? So what we've done is get you your very own Mercedes to ride.
We buy Mercedes for our kids. Patrice Rollins. All of you who have been regulars at NYL have learned how much chores this kid has. She has so many chores. We got her a sponge to save her hands though.
This particular gift will only mean something if you were there.
Gene. Mike didn't hear that, and he thought I said
I know, but
Mike said Ness and Gill.
Denise Banks. Denise, we want to inform you that you are following in your mother's footsteps. You're becoming a very, very busy young lady. And we got you this calendar so you know when you're supposed to be where. Look at the date on it. Tell them what year that is. 1983. You're right on time, Denise. Steve Cobb. Steve drives now, and the one thing that Steve would really, really, really want is his own set of keys. Here they are.
We have a group award sort of thing here. There are four guys that are sitting together again tonight. It was the biggest disaster at any table here tonight. And it usually is. Yes, John, Kevin, Joe, Bob, come on up. Every place they go, something gets broken. We started out with the Three Musketeers award, but that didn't work. It was four. What really fit was the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. So we got you each a horse.
Mike Johnson. Mike's the original good guy, white horse, two guns, you know. So what we wanted to do is give him the original good guy award by giving him a Mr. Goodbar.
Teresa Davis. I want you folks to know that some people have Jane Fonda and exercise, or some of these others, but we have Teresa. Unfortunately, Teresa has something special to take care of, a medical problem. They're called shin splints. So we got her an ace bandage. I think, did we miss anybody?
No, definitely.
Good. We did have a couple awards that I think you folks would appreciate. Do you remember the night we were playing Winkum?
Yeah.
And we had an injury to the necklace? Do you remember?
Yeah.
We got her a new one, so remind her that her necklace has been replaced.
I forgot her name.
Amy Peters.
Oh,
Amy
yeah.
Peters. Where's Janet? Mike, would you come forward, please?
I could.
Come.
Okay. Let's see here. It says, in appreciation for your service in God's work, the A&M Cobb, Belt Choir Director, St. Mark's Methodist Church.
I'd like to also, Mike reminded me that special recognition should go to the families of people who are active, the adults that are active, the spouses that have supported their spouses and family members in coming, and the kids who have allowed their parents to become active. I think that's especially important that they've allowed us to share their parents with us. One of the nicest presents that Glenn ever gave to me, and I don't think he realized it, was in leaving such a solid staff of counselors to work with. And in one of my major roles as a pastor of this church, I do a lot of nurturing. And often the well runs dry, and I get weary and tired like the rest. And I realize that the fires are slain by the people I've worked with. And the three that I first met in this church, and I think that they're the ones that I'll always be touched by because they helped me this first year, have been like Coleman and Paulette and Dick Wang. So right now I want to hold them up to you as excellent examples of disciples of Christ. They not only nurtured me in a first year, which beginnings are always difficult, but I know they have nurtured the people that they have worked with. I'd just like to see the people that 4 years ago first had them as counselors, that came into the program with the Wangs. How many of the senior highs here? You should stand. How many people in the last 3 years ago, first met the Wangs? Stay standing. 4 years. If you saw them 4 years ago here. 3 years. 2 years. 1 year. Everybody on the junior high should be standing.
All year. I started 4 years ago. Just said 1 year.
Sharon and Dave Johnson have agreed to help with social events. But we'd also like another one or two people to help with the junior high program since you're getting so large. And so keep that in your purgations, please. This has been a wonderful evening, and it's been a fun evening. And sometimes they don't go together, so it's especially nice that St. Mark's can mix fun with spirit. Can we stand for and say our benediction? And start with May the Lord